All right, we're going to start off this section 1-3 notes, which is on points, lines, and planes. We're going to start this section off with a short warm-up. So we'll pause this video so you can look through these questions. The first one says, given the 4 points, draw as many lines as you can to connect the points. What do you notice about all of these lines? And you can see the points there. Number 2 says, what are some characteristics of a line? So jot down what you think some characteristics of a line would be right in this section. And then for number 3, I want you to draw the top, front, and right of this diagram that you see here. So pause the video so you can work on that now. All right, now that we've spent time doing that and discussed the warm-up, here's the first part of our notes. For this section, we're going to go through the definition, the picture, and how to name each one. So a point, the term point, would be represented by a capital letter, such as this. You would see a point with a capital A or a capital letter. A does have location, and it has no size. So that's the definition of a point, that it has location, but it has no size. It is always represented by a capital letter. The second term we're going to go through is a line. A line is made up of points, has no thickness or width. Another key point is that any 2 points make a line. So any 2 points make up a line. And the third point, is that it extends without end. So I've added on here that any 2 points make up a line. You can see here, this would be called line A. The line is represented by a lowercase letter, and it has 2 points. So line A has points X, Z, and line A also has points Z, W. This is showing you line A, X, Z. We could also say that line A has the points W, X. And you could see that a line has arrows on both ends because it extends without end. Our next definition is collinear, which are points on the same line. And it's opposite of non-collinear. So collinear would be, you can see we have this line here, and collinear points would be B and C. They're points on the same line, just like A and B would be collinear. Non-collinear would be point N and point C. Those would not be points on the same line. For a plane is a flat surface made up of points. So you can see here we have a flat surface, and it's made up of points, all capital letters. It has no thickness, and it extends without end in all directions. So this would be a plane. We could call this plane R, or we could also name it by saying plane A, C, B. All of the points are represented with capital letters. Our next definition is coplanar, which is where points and lines are on the same plane. So the points are on the same plane. So coplanar would be how we saw up here. The ACB would be points on the same plane. So those would be coplanar. Here are postulates or facts. Through any 2 points, there is exactly one line. So you can see here we have our line represented by arrows at the end to show that it's continuous. And on that one line, we have our 2 points, A and B, because on any line, it is always made up of 2 points. Our next postulate or fact is if 2 lines intersect, they intersect at exactly 1 point. So you can see here we have the line BD and also the line AE. And those 2 lines intersect at exactly point C. And our third postulate, if 2 planes intersect, they intersect at exactly 1 line. So if 2 planes intersect, so you can see here, we have plane W, and plane W is intersecting with plane R. And you can see this line here that has the points S and T, and that would be the line that they intersect at. Here are some examples for you to look at, and we're going to use this figure to name each of the following. So the first thing we want to do is name a line containing point N. So I'm going to let you look at that figure and see if you can do that. You can see over here we have a line. This would be line L. You can see it's represented by a lowercase letter, and that line contains point N, which you can see there. The second example we want to go over is number 2 says we want to name a plane containing points P and M. So look at the figure and see if you can find a plane containing points P and M. Okay, for this one, you could say that plane B contains points P and M. And for our last one, it's asking us to name line L in as many ways as possible. So we want to name line L in as many ways as possible. Here's a few more examples. We're going to use this figure to name the following. So here's our figure. First of all, we want to find how many planes are located in the figure. So how many planes do you see in this figure? The next question is, you need to identify the intersection of planes A, C, G, and A, B, D. Where is the intersection of planes A, C, G, and A, B, D? Next, we want to name 3 coplanar points. So if you can find and name 3 coplanar points. And the last part of this example, we're going to look at this figure and name 3 non-collinear points. Name 3 non-collinear points. Go ahead and write your answers down. And we're going to move on to our last example. All right, for our last example, I would like you to sketch and label plane Q so that it contains line AB but does not contain point N. So sketch and label plane Q so that it contains line AB but does not contain point N. Go ahead and write your answer right underneath that. Good luck. All right, that concludes our notes. Hopefully you have a better understanding of section 1.3, points, lines, and planes.